side here. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you here is we have the editor, David DeZena. Here's the teaching guide overview. So this will take you right through the teaching guides. Maybe I should play that right now here. And then the student lesson overview. So are you still there, Jackie?
I am.
Okay.
Hi, I'm David DeZena, Editorial Director at Plfaum Publishing. I'm excited to show you some of the new features of our teacher guides for Plfaum Gospel Weeklies. You'll see this year that they're in 4-color. Very excited about that. And we incorporate the level color into the guides as well. So your Seeds Preschool, Promise for grades K and 1, Good News grades 2 and 3, Venture grades 4, 5, and 6, and Visions grades 7 and 8. To help you identify which unit you are using, you will see a unit color and tab from the top corner. We also have the date range that lists the dates for this unit, obviously the unit title, and a table of contents for the unit that also lists some resources and background information, as well as additional resources that you will see on the back of the teacher guides that list some of the new features we have for the program. There's also a reminder on the bottom corner here to go online so you can download PDFs of these teacher guides, both in English and Spanish. This is very helpful when you have a substitute and you just want to send them a lesson, or if you forget your guide, or you just want to have an extra copy. Taking a look at pages 2 and 3 of the teaching guide, you'll see we have a background for the unit, some information on liturgy-based catechesis, the unit gospel background, and also an overview of some features for the coming year. There's also a scope and sequence chart that you will see in every unit's teaching guide that lists the themes and topics and items to cover from the catechism for the 8 lessons of each unit. There's also a reminder to go online for free resources at gospelweeklies.com. Taking a look at our new teaching guide planner pages, you see we have the lesson information up top, a little picture of the student lesson, and for catechists and teachers, a scripture background, connecting scripture and doctrine. We also have materials list, all the materials you will need for the lesson, suggested music from our new music CDs, lesson resources such as our new activity books, and lesson assessments that are available online. And then we have 3 options for pacing plans. We have a single session lesson plan pacing guide for a 60-minute lesson and a 90-minute lesson, and for Catholic schools, a 5-day lesson plan. Each of the 3 steps of the lesson are color-coded, so you'll see that there's share experiences, discover gospel and doctrine, live the gospel. There are suggestions for time for each of the 3 steps, along with the different things to do in each step. There's also references to go to our What the Church Believes and Teaches books, and then some take-home reminders, just bringing the activities home, or a reminder to share the family corner at home with families. For the 5-day pacing guide, we break down in 3 steps over 5 days. Each day has an opening and closing prayer, another reference to the What the Church Believes and Teaches handbooks when appropriate, reminder as a Friday take-home to take home the family corner and other resources, as well as a curriculum connection. These list different types of themes and ways that we can link the lesson to other disciplines. And this can be used, this extending the lesson feature can be used for both parish and schools. It lists all our additional resources, such as, again, the lesson assessment, seasonal resources available online, as well as video links. We have video links offered for each lesson to make this multimedia presentation. There's a Catholic Identity Project of the Week for all levels, as well as some saints and feast days to celebrate throughout the week. Looking at the teaching spread for the lessons, again, we have the 3 color-coded steps: share experiences, discover gospel and doctrine, and live the gospel. The objectives are clearly marked at the beginning of each step. Give a reminder for music, an opening prayer, and then the lesson flows for each step. In Good News, Venture, and Visions, you will see icons from the student lessons that help link the questions that are in the student lessons to the feature section here. Also, within the lesson, the What the Church Believes and Teaches Catechism Handbook is referenced. For example, here it says, distribute the children's What the Church Believes and Teaches handbooks, clearly marked. Then it goes into what to teach in that handbook, reminding catechists to return to the student lesson pages and continue the lesson for the week. For Nature and Visions, the With My Family and Friends section is also known as the Family Corner in the lower 3 levels. And it's a reminder at the end of each lesson to take that home and share that with families. Then there's a lesson wrap-up that reminds catechists and teachers to use the lesson assessment that's available online, as well as the activity book lesson for the week. Each lesson now has an activity in this activity book that correlates with the lesson.
Okay. Now let's look at the student. He also does the student, Jackie, so you think that's okay to do that too, or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, super. Let's get out of this. Let's see here. There we go. Oops, yep. Let me play the student one then. This is another overview that he's done, so.
Hello, I'm David, the editorial director at Plfaum Publishing. I'd like to show you the new features of our student lessons for the Plfaum Gospel Weeklies. Seeds for preschool, Promise for grades K and 1, Good News for grades K and 3, Venture for grades 4, 5, and 6, and Visions for grades 7 and 8. For Seeds, preschool children will learn about the gospel through talking, listening, singing, storytelling, and colorful hands-on activities. Each lesson is 4 pages. You'll notice at the top, the date follows the liturgical year color, as well as the bottom band. This will be the same for all lessons in every unit. Page 1 is an opening activity, usually centered around the gospel. Pages 2 and 3 of each Seeds lesson are either a full page activity, or in this case, a story activity, as well as a coloring activity. Also, you'll see the Family Corner feature is now appearing in all 5 levels of the weeklies, both in English and in Spanish, those Seeds and Promise levels. Here, there's a Sunday Gospel activity, Question of the Week, and Family Prayer. The Question of the Week and the Family Prayer are in all 5 levels in exactly the same text. So children in all levels in the same family can be discussing in question of the week at home and praying the family prayer together as a family. There's also a reference to go on the website. This can be used for both catechists and parents. And this particularly highlights the seasonal activities that are available free online, that are additional resources that can be used in the classroom or at home. The back page, in this case, it's a welcome activity. The back page is another form of activity that would be provided. Some lessons have cutout activities, others, again, coloring or other types of engaging activities for preschoolers. For fun, grades K and 1 students experience the gospel through storytelling, prayer, and fun activities. And similar to seeds, you will see the date and the bottom band liturgical color. Page 1 usually is a gospel story or an opening activity related to the gospel theme. Pages 2 and 3 are either full spread activities or individual activities like you see here. This one is a storytelling activity that also has an on-page part for the children to use. This side are things that they can glue or tape that relate to giving gifts. You'll notice here, Family Corner in English and Spanish, again the question of the week, and family prayer. And the back page teaches the Lord's Prayer, in this case, using gestures. For grades 2 and 3, Good News features fun hands-on activities, realistic stories, gospel narratives that lead children through the gospel theme of the week. Here you'll see the date and the week of the liturgical year, and the bottom color band, all in the correct liturgical color for that week. Page 1 is an opening activity related to the gospel theme. Page 2 is a story related to the theme of the gospel, but usually not the gospel itself. Page 3 is that gospel reading, written in role play form. The no questions and Good News, in this case, relate to the Sunday gospel and the story, and this is good for discussion question in class. There's an activity that goes along to reinforce the gospel theme message. And on page 4, you'll see connecting gospel and doctrine. Page 3 talks about the gospel itself. Page 4 connects the gospel to church teaching. You'll see a reference here, new this year, to what the church believes and teaches catechism handbooks. In this case, it says go to page 30 of your catechism handbook. And that relates to the theme presented in this week's lesson. This is followed by a reinforced with additional activities related to the doctrinal theme. And then you'll see a Catholic faith word, in this case, Pharisees. And you will go back to page 3 here and see the word is bold and highlighted. The family corner, as with the other levels, the question of the week and family prayer are the same question and prayer